What's up, everybody? It is your boy Brandon, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the Tamron 35-150 F2-2.8, but with a little twist. It's going to be versus the Sigma 28-105 2.8. Now, as you guys know, I have used the Tamron 35-150 in a previous photo shoot, and I was absolutely blown away by how fast it was, how sharp it was, just overall how it rendered the image. And it was a real joy to use in this shoot. Now, when I initially used the Tamron 35-150 for this photo shoot, I was using flash. And of course, on the low end at 35 millimeters, you're at f2. 36, 37, it goes about 2.2, 2.5 before it gets to f2.8. So using that while it's changing apertures with flash, it was kind of frustrating. Now, yes, I could have just set it at 2.8, but of course I wasn't even thinking. I was trying to get through the shoot. And then I initially ended up sending the Tamron back. It didn't say anything about the lens. I thought the lens was spectacular, but it's probably the only lens that I have ever used that I had truly missed. So in the interim of things, I had Sigma send me out their very new 28-105 2.8. Now, both of these lenses are very, very similar. Let me tell you how. So both of these lenses have the same filter thread, 82 millimeters. So if you're going to use an ND filter on one, you can put it on the other one. Let's start with the Tamron first. With the Tamron, you get three different custom hold buttons on the lens, all right, that you can dedicate to do something. It has a switch right here that has three custom settings on it. If you choose to use that, you have your AF, MF toggle right here. And then you also have your zoom ring that basically has your indicator over here that tells you whether you're at 35 millimeters, and as you go through the zoom, the hash mark basically tells you where you are in the zoom range. All right. You also have your zoom lock button right here. Now, this button right here, this lock button, is only to lock it at your lowest zoom. So at 35 millimeters, you can lock it so you don't go into the rest of the zoom. It won't zoom in or out. If you unlock it, then you can then zoom through the focal range. Now, I would have loved to see this, and the Sigma operates kind of similar. Let's just say you're doing something and you want to lock this at 70 millimeters or 85 millimeters. You can't. All right. So you have to be cognizant if you're doing something very specific and you need it to be locked or at a certain focal length, you have to watch out for that, because you can't lock it at those other zoom ranges. You also have a Type-C port down here to do your updates. So that is pretty much the Tamron. Again, this starts at 35 millimeters and it goes all the way up to 150 millimeters. F2 on the low end, all the way up to f2.8, giving you that constant aperture. After around 30, I think it's 38 millimeters, then it turns into a consistent 2.8 aperture. With the Sigma, this is the Sigma 28-105 2.8, okay? Consistent aperture, starting at the low end on 28 millimeters, going all the way up to 105. You have one custom button, hold, whatever you want to call it, right here. Unlike the Tamron, you do have three. You have a lock right here, a locking mechanism right here. Again, that's if you start at 28 millimeters, you can lock it at 28 millimeters, but then once you go to any other areas of the zoom range, you cannot lock it again. All right. Now it's kind of fake. Like, you can zoom and you can lock it, but it's still going to move. All right. It's not going to lock at any other focal length. All right. I wish it did. I thought that would be pretty cool. Like, if you want to, a lot of times when we're out as photographers and we're doing our thing and we're moving and our hand is going here and here and here and here, sometimes you might slip up, you know, and if what you're doing is very specific at a specific focal length, that's a good idea to allow it to lock at pretty much at any of the major areas of the zoom. So like 35 millimeters, I feel like you should be able to lock it. 50 millimeters, because it's right there, I feel like you should be able to lock it at anything that you have on there, but you can't lock it, so whatever. Here on the Sigma, you have your aperture ring down here. All right, now you are able to, you have a button right here, a toggle right here that says click. So when you push it up, you won't hear the aperture moving. All right, it'll be really nice and smooth. If you push it down, now you can hear it. All right, it gives you more of an indication where you are on your aperture ring and let you know that you're actually moving it. So you also have a toggle right here, right at the end of your apertures right here. So basically what this is kind of like the zoom. You can lock this where when it's in the A position. A stands for auto. That way you can change this manually on your camera. So it has to be in A in order for you to change the aperture on your camera. If it's not, a lot of times if you're like over here and your hand is moving and you're trying to change it on your camera and it's not changing, most of the time is because this is not in the A position. All right, so once you put it in A over here to manually do it on your camera, you can lock it. All right, so you won't move that aperture ring. If you have something specific, again, where you want to put it in a specific setting, let's say I want to put it in F8 and lock it, it won't lock. Just letting you know, it doesn't lock. You have to put it in A and you can lock it, then you can't move it. Again, if you're going to put that on here, I feel like you should be able to lock it in specific areas of the lens, but that's here nor there, whatever. So, and then again, you have your autofocus, manual autofocus, but toggle right here. And then that's pretty much it. So both of these lenses are absolutely fantastic zoom lenses. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to what you need for your photography and what fits your idea, what fits your characteristics, what fits your what do you need in your bag. Now, to test out both of these lenses, I did put these lenses in a photo shoot head to head, where actually it was pitch black outside. It was a nighttime photo shoot because I wanted to see what these lenses offered. I wanted to see how they both held up at nighttime, and I was able to get a really good photo shoot with my model Talia to test out both of these. Now this video will be coming. It will not be part of this. This is just basically my talking head for these, kind of a short form, but my talking head for both of these lenses to let you know what's coming. I wanted to play around with both of these lenses. I wanted to play around with the zoom ranges. I wanted to play around with the depth of field on each one to basically see what the difference is and what I would appreciate more with these two lenses. So you have to kind of ask yourself, and I know a lot of people got questions about these two lenses. The first thing when I'm using them, the first thing is, do I need the low end of the 28 millimeter versus the 35 millimeter? Is stopping at that 35 millimeter enough? And then going upwards on the up end, do I need 150 millimeters, or is a 105, is that enough? So that's what I wanted to play around with. What am I going to be wanting more? What am I going to be missing more compared to how I shoot? So there was no better way to actually do this and test this versus putting it in a real world photo shoot and using flash and testing out everything at nighttime to actually see what these lenses look like. My check. All right, guys, what's up, everybody? So we are outside now. So I'm going to tell you, this is probably going to be a 2-layer video, because not only do I have the A9 III outside with my flash and everything, I also have the 28-105 Sigma and Tamron 35-150. So I wanted to come outside and kind of get some images and do some with flash and see if we can get a good difference, a good heartbeat between the 28 and 105 in this setting, you know, without like a model and being rushed and stuff, just to talk about it a little bit. Okay, so between the 28-105 and the 35-150, I think I'm going to shoot at, I want to pick a focal length that is basically in between both of these lenses. So we're going to go with 50 millimeters. I'm going to shoot this at 50. I'm going to shoot the other one at 50. And then I'm going to shoot both of them at 100. Each one of these have 102.8. This one has, you can get to 102.8 in this one. I'm gonna shoot both of them at 35 millimeters. Let's start at 35 millimeters. First shot I'm gonna give you is a 35. The next shot I'm gonna give you is a 50. The next shot I'm gonna give you is 100. And then same with the Tamron. So we're gonna start off with the Sigma first, okay? Okay, that was 35. We're gonna change it to 50. I'm gonna make me a little spot for my 50 millimeter spot. All right, and then we're gonna go to 100. I'm gonna just say 105, 105. Y'all know that's my favorite focal length. So we're gonna come back, check out this depth of field. All right, 105. Let me check out where I am. All right, 105. That was the Sigma. All right, so 35 millimeters. I know where I was last time. All right, 35. And I'm shooting it at 2.8. So it shouldn't be I shouldn't have to change anything. I shouldn't have to change no settings, nothing. Everything should be the same. 50 now and 100. 105 to be exact. Okay. I was about right here when I did 105. Okay. We are over here in Lightroom right now, and I just wanted to show you some of the things that I found out with these images, and I wanted you to see these images for yourself. Okay, so this is what we just did outside. So we're going to get right up into it. All right, so right here at the top left hand corner, you can see that this was shot with the Sony Alpha 9 Mark III, and this was shot with the Tamron 35-150 f2-2.8. And then right over here on the right hand side, you will see the XF data. We was pretty much at 3200th of a second in f2.8. So this first one, as you can see, is a 35 millimeter. The second one, this is also the Tamron, shot at 50 millimeters 2.8. And then this third one, in sequential order, the Tamron 35-150, and this was shot around 105. That's what we was going for the third shot. All right, and then the next one, you will see that these are shot with the Sigma 28-105, around 35 millimeters where we tried to get it at. All right, we got really close, so 49.6 millimeters, 50 millimeter shot for the second one, and then 105 for the third one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put these side by side for you just so you can see kind of the difference in the two. All right, so we're going to start off right here with the, let me see here, this on the left hand side you'll have the 35 to 150 Tamron, and then we'll put the Sigma in the right hand side. So I kind of got these pretty much exact. All right, we didn't change any settings. These were straight out of the camera, straight through the lens, okay, with nothing adjusted, no flash adjustment. All right, this is just how they look out of camera from what I shot. So right off, as you can see, it seems like the Sigma on your right hand side is just a little bit brighter than the Tamron. Okay, they were both again shot at 2.8, but I just wanted to see this for myself, because again, if nobody honestly shows you this, you kind of we wouldn't really see this. And this was actually pretty consistent throughout the images. Now, is this a big deal for a lot of people? Probably not, but it's good to see how these lenses are actually rendering the image and the color. And again, the sun, you can't really blame it on the sun, because the sun wasn't dipping up and down. The light that's on her right now is from the flash, so that is not a distractor as well. It's just the way, it's just how much brighter the lens is versus the other lens. All right, so we're gonna go to the next image. So this is shot at 35 millimeters, okay, on both of these, straight out of the camera. All right, no editing, no adjustments, no nothing. The second one, We'll put this one over here. So then we'll put this one over here. All right, so again, this was shot at 50 millimeters, as you can see. The Tamron on your left hand side, the Sigma on your right hand side. Again, straight out of camera. Again, this is consistent. Remember, I shot the Tamron first. I'm sorry, I shot the Sigma first, all 3 images, and then I shot the Tamron. So no adjustments, no changes. All right. As you can see, still the Sigma is still brighter than the Tamron coming out. All right. And then now we're gonna look at it at 105 millimeters for each one. And it's so great. I was pretty much dead on with the composition on each one of these, just marking where I was on the grass. Again, straight out of camera, you can see it right here. The Tamron on your left hand side at 105, and then the Sigma on your right hand side at 105. So if we punch in a little bit, all right, so here it is right here. I really can't really distinguish which one is actually sharper. I mean, the Sigma looks sharper because it's brighter, but all in all, I think they are both really sharp. But one thing I did check, if you look at the hair up here and hair around here, you can see that the Sigma looks a little bit blurrier than the Tamron. I would definitely, if you look at the hair right here, look at the follicles in the hair up here in the here, you can see that the Tamron definitely looks sharper than the Sigma. All right. Again, it might be where it focused at, you know, because there are some areas that look sharper on the Sigma. If you look at the hair right here on the side, you can see that this wasn't in focus on here, so it kind of missed right here. So it really kind of like just depends. So you can kind of take that for what it's worth. Let's go back to the images really quick just so we can see if there's any other difference. So these are at the 50. All right, we're gonna punch into both of these. Now this is at 50, but yeah, this like I said, the Sigma just looks a little bit, it doesn't look as sharp as the Sigma. Again, in certain areas, but when you actually focusing on the actual face, in the rag and everything, the Tamron just looks a little bit sharper. All right, so that's it. I hope you guys hope that helped you out. But it really gave me an opportunity to see if I really needed the 35 to 150 as my all-around lens, the lens that I would use for everything, or if I wanted the newer 28 to 105, and would I be missing the high end of going to 150 and playing more with the low end on the 28 millimeters. So when I use these in a photo shoot, I noticed, again, this also has to do with the area that you're shooting in, because it's going to have a lot to play in with flexibility. If you look at the area, and I'll try to put the videos and stuff up here just to kind of show you what's coming. All right, but it was an area where I wanted to capture a lot of the lighting and a lot of the ambient in the frame, because it looks so good. The neon lights was great, the model was perfect, everything was great. So I could not really move backwards because I would have went down the steps and stuff. I wanted to get my model closer to the lighting. So I had to really watch my composition in order to get what I wanted. So I noticed when I was using the 35, I was wide enough, but I thought it was great. I thought using it to 35 millimeters was great. I thought zooming in, and we're talking about the Tamron right now, I thought zooming in to 150 millimeters was excellent. The shallow depth of field was absolutely stunning until I put on the Sigma. And when I put on the Sigma and I was able to back up even more, not me personally back up, but use it at 28 millimeters, and me being able to capture even more in the frame, it was amazing. It looked so much better. It looked amazing. Not saying that the Tamron did not look better, but the versatility of using it at 28 versus 35 worked out better for that type of shoot, for that type of environment. Now, if I had the room, could I have moved backwards and got more in the frame using the 35 millimeters? Absolutely, I could have done that. But I could not for this situation. So in this situation, the 28mm actually worked better on the low end than using it at the 35. Now using it on the high end, when I used the Sigma and I zoomed in at 105, the 105 looked great. I think the depth of field looked great. The bokeh was beautiful. I loved it until I put on the Tamron. The Tamron depth of field was gorgeous bokeh. I mean, it just separated my model like it was nothing. And remember, I'm going into 150, 120, 110. I can just play around with it. So, in all, at the end of the day, the Tamron 35 to 150 just gave me so much more flexibility as a photographer in the way that I shoot. I loved it. Now again, I've used it before and I know what it brought to the table, but I really wanted to give the 28 to 105 and really match them up to see how these things fared against each other. I think all in all, it has to do with your environment, where you're shooting at, and what you actually need for that particular shoot, and if you can play around with the area at all. Now if I wanted to, yeah, I could have played around with the area some more and really got what I wanted. They're both 2.8s. They both are very, very sharp. They both offer some very, very good flexibility. You're not going to go wrong with either one. So if you're looking for me to tell you that this one is better than the other one, I'm not going to do that. What I am going to tell you is for how I shoot, for what I need lenses for the flexibility that I look for in the lens, the Tamron hits all those boxes for me, which is why I actually bought it again. So this is actually mine. I bought this one. This one is the Sigma is a loaner from Sigma, so I can test them out. But not to mention, the Tamron 35 to 150 is the perfect studio lens. Perfect studio lens. Being able to be as wide as 35, being able to go in as far as 150, and not having to grab my 70 to 200 to really get those headshots that I want sometimes. The Tamron is fabulous. Now, where does that leave my 70 to 200? Well, I can't give away my 7200. That thing is just absolutely amazing. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I gotta keep both of those, man. But to each his own. I think for something like this, you really just have to figure out what you need in your bag and what works out for your photography. What do you already have and what do you need? What do you shoot? If you feel like you don't need a 35 to 150, but you will fare more with 28 to 105, then that's the lens for you. If you don't have a 70 to 200, if you do have a 70 to 200, if you do a lot of weddings, if you do a lot of events, if you do something where you're going to be able to, where you're going to need to get up to 150 and be as wide as 35, then the Tamron is definitely for you. Now, with that being also said, I think the Tamron right now is still going brand new. I think for $17.99, you may be able to find that used actually. I actually found mine used and was able to cut off a whole lot of money on it. So the Sigma, I think right now is still going for $14.99. So the prices are fairly similar. All right, you still get, but again, you get more with the Tamron. So you know, it is what it is, but that Sigma, man, is still sharp. The Tamron is absolutely sharp. I absolutely love it, and I'm actually glad I did buy it again at the price that I did. So again, like, listen, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. Take it for what it's worth, man. Let me know down in the comment section which one you guys prefer and why. Do you feel like you benefit more from the 28 to 105, or do you feel like the Tamron 35 to 150 just hits all the check marks in the box for you, man? Make sure you comment below, hit that bell for notifications, man, because I got a lot of stuff that I got to drop this week because I got to get these things sent back. Yeah, and that's also including the Sony A9 III video coming on this also. So until next time, man, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe for your boy, man. I will see you guys in the next video. I holla. Peace. We out.